What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video. And today, it is time that we discuss the 2024 Republican presidential primary and how, in one single event, former Vice President Mike Pence went from somebody that I thought could potentially take third place next year to, yeah, his career is completely dead. That is right, everybody. In a single event, the former vice president just killed his political career. I cannot believe what just happened a couple hours ago at the Family Leadership Summit in the state of Iowa. Now, before we continue today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American, which is a phenomenal deal, as helps support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, this is the best way to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, so we got to discuss this because this is absolutely hilarious what happened just a couple hours ago. Now, as many of you probably know, there is a Family Leadership Summit thing happening in Iowa. This is an event of one of the most evangelical conservative groups in the state of Iowa, and essentially it's the first debate of the 2024 Republican cycle. That's what it really is, except they go one at a time, and Tucker Carlson is actually the one hosting it. He's the one that is hosting the event, asking the questions one-on-one. And let's be clear, none of the answers so far have been that good. I mean, Tim Scott was bad. Ass Hutchinson was just atrocious. Somehow Nikki Haley was passable. But guys, we hit the bottom of the barrel. Somehow, after looking back at it, Mike Pence had the worst segment of any of the candidates. Somehow, it was even worse than Ass Hutchinson in many areas. Yeah. And you know me, guys, I'm not necessarily anti-Mike Pence just because. There are some issues where Mike Pence is arguably the strongest Republican. Abortion, the issue of culture stuff. I agree, he is arguably the most conservative on that front. But boy, did he drop the ball. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson sparred with former VP Mike Pence over the war in Ukraine here Friday at the Family Leadership Summit, which again, this is one of the most religiously conservative organizations or events in the state of Iowa. So these are people that they're super conservative, and arguably they're the ones that they're not going to be vehemently pro-war. And the audience reaction clearly was, but we'll get to that. Pence opened the discussion with a joke. I thought I was going to get off easy. I got on stage and there was no Tucker. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Within a minute of sitting down, Carlson immediately dove into asking if Pence thought January 6th was an insurrection. Now, this answer was actually all right. I got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, this is a difficult one for Pence to answer. I understand that it's a little bit different when you're the vice president, you got people that are threatening you, and they're actually in the Capitol. So I give him some leeway on that part. I never used the word insurrection, Tucker, over the last 2 years, but it was a riot that took place at the Capitol that day. Pence said of the 2021 attack, which I would say, okay, I have some problems with that statement, but is it the worst in the world? No. Is it that bad? I don't think so. I think considering the circumstances, this was probably the best Pence could answer. But then, oh boy, we get to the second part. It was Pence's stance on Ukraine that proved to be the most controversial. And this is where things fell off a freaking cliff. The two argued over whether Ukrainian President Zelensky's government was respecting religious liberty. While on Fox News, Carlson was frequently critical of Ukraine and U.S. support for the country in the war with Russia. But, you know, the whole Ukraine stuff, everybody knows my opinion. I feel bad for the people. I absolutely do. But we have so many problems here that it's our best interest to say, look, we shouldn't be choosing who wins this war. We should be here to broker peace. You know, we should be talking with Russia, talking with Ukraine, and find a peace settlement. Not, oh, we're going to spend tens of billions of dollars, but meanwhile, fentanyl is coming through our southern border, our cities are falling apart. It's like, what? Pence outlined his position saying, I believe that it is in the interest of the United States of America to continue to give the Ukrainian military the resources that they need to repeal the Russian invasion and restore their sovereignty. What? Well, what interest? Those comments came with boos from the audience, the first of the day. Yeah, this was the first time the audience, they'd even boo Hutchinson for some of his transgender stuff. They booed Pence before they did Hutchinson. The exchange then escalated when Tucker continued to insist Zelensky had arrested priests for having views they disagree with, which that's actually what happened. If you deny that happened, what are you talking about? Pence repeatedly pushed back, saying he had asked religious leaders about the issue during his trip to the country in June and was told it was not happening. But somebody brought up the people he was talking to were Zelensky shills. So it's like, you're telling me you just trust one guy who is seemingly a very pro-Zelensky guy, and they arrested, clergy for being, maybe Russian Orthodox? It's like, that's a big problem, Pence, but it just wasn't that good. When you keep reading the rest of this, you realize, yeah, this wasn't that good of an answer for Pence. Carlson would not let Pence move on, continuing, I can't let you glide over the question of the treatment of Christians and clergy. Pence cut in firmly, the problem is you won't accept my answer, because your answer sucks. You can't just say, oh, well, somebody said otherwise, therefore there's not a problem. Pence has leaned into support for Ukraine during his presidential run, distinguishing himself from some rivals, including former President Trump and Florida Governor DeSantis, who have been far more critical of U.S. involvement there. In remarks to reporters after the interview with Carlson, Pence was asked if he was surprised by how much of the conversation he spent defending his support of Ukraine. I'm really never surprised by Tucker Carlson, he replied. He laid the blame for much of the audience's disagreement with him on the issue of the feat of President Biden. What? The fact that Biden had failed at leading us domestically and internationally, I think, has undermined the willingness of some conservative Americans, including conservative Christians, to otherwise stand behind our role as leader of the free world, Pence said. But look, I believe in leadership, not fellowship. Bro, I didn't even know this part. What are you talking about? What? Does he seriously believe the majority of Republicans support, us being the world police? Huh? But this isn't what was the bad part. There's one quote where NBC purposely took it out. Right here. You want to talk about bottom of the barrel questions, how to end a campaign? This is how. Tucker. Every city in America has become worse over the past few years. Your concern is that Ukraine don't have enough tanks. Where's the concern for America in that? Pence. And I quote, that's not my concern. Yep. He said that. He said flat out, my concern isn't for the American cities in decay. It's about for the Ukrainian tanks. And people are going to say, oh, he was taken out of context. It doesn't matter. It's over. His campaign's done. This is a disastrous soundbite for Mike Pence. Because, okay, even if you think, oh, well, he meant for the tanks. But it's like, a lot of people are saying no. He clearly meant that for the American cities. And I don't think Pence realized at the time, but I think his team afterwards realized, oh God, he made a big blunder. Because he's essentially saying here, and the sound bites right here, he doesn't give a crap about American cities. Do I think he believes that? I don't know. But he flat out said, it's not my concern. My concern is the Ukrainian war. This is the definition of what Bush did in 1992. Remember, he didn't care about economics. He cared only about foreign policy. But this is even dumber. Because at least he just said that's a lot of voodoo stuff. Here he's just flat out saying, I don't care what happens with every city. It's not my concern. My concern is what's happening in Ukraine. This is how to end your political career in a single statement. By saying, nope, doesn't matter, not my concern. My concern's Ukraine. It sucks. It really does suck because Pence, he was an okay option. Because on social issues, I can live with. He was really good on social issues. The foreign policy has always been the question mark. But here, it's over. It doesn't matter what you think. It's done. His chance to gain the nomination went from 1% to 0. Hell, I think unironically, Christie has a better chance now because of this stupid statement that Mike Pence made. Absolutely dumb. And it didn't help him either that he sounded sick. He did not sound good at all. It sucks because Pence, he had a possibility of doing something, but his foreign policy sucked, and he decided to make the dumbest statement you could have said. I don't care about American cities. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.